Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. Thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate your time and support on the channel. So I recently did a blush collection. It was a requested video from you guys, and yeah, I really appreciated that request. Now in the comment section people were asking to see my highlighter collection, and I thought to myself, after I said I would do the highlighter collection, I'm sure I've recently done one. I did one last August, and I haven't really got many new highlighters since, so I just think that's a little bit premature. I think maybe I'll leave it another 6 months and then maybe do it either at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. But I thought, what can I do as part of the collection that you guys might want to see? And I thought, why not do face palettes? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through all my face palettes and we're going to do some swatches on them. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so here we are in one of my drawers from my chest of drawers. So all these here are face palettes, and then all those at the back are face palettes, and we've got a few face palettes there. So I think I'm going to be swatching the most part. I'm going to take them over to the vanity. Right guys, so I've just got my Primark palettes and my self-made palettes, so I thought I would go through them first. Right, so let's start. So this one is probably one of my favourites. It's the Primark PS Pure Glow highlighting palette. I'm sure I got this from Portugal, or it might have been that one. I got one of them from there. Actually, I think this one. No, they were both from the UK. They don't have, it doesn't have like euros on there or anything, but this is what it looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. I've not used it in a hot minute. So pretty. Right, so that is the only one I can't use, but that kind of tone makes a really nice eyeshadow on me. I need to get a wipe. Right, so we're going to put Desert on first, which is the white one. Look at that. Highlighter makes me so happy. I'm going to do another swatch. In fact, that wasn't Desert. I don't know what happened there. I think... Right, so I've taken all the swatches off, so let's do it again. So Desert, which is that white one. I think that's my sister ringing me. And now she's not answering, so that one's Desert. The next one is Glimmer. This one is one of my favourites out of the entire palette. It's so pretty. Then the one after that is called Eden. I need to remember to take the highlighters off. This one's pretty as well. So that's Eden. And then the only one I can't use is Firefly. Look at that though, how nice would that be as an eyeshadow over the lids. So yeah, that's all of the eyeshadows in that palette. So again, that one is called PS Pure Glow. And for £5 guys, that is a really good value for money. They don't do these anymore, I don't think, at Primark, or at least my Primark they don't. Then we've got the PS Bronze Highlight and Glow. It was originally £4, and then they saw how well they were doing and put the price up. Typical really. So we've got two highlighters there. This one works quite well as a bronze topper, and then this one is far too dark. So we've got Sunbeam, which I absolutely adore. It's silky smooth. And they're really beaming as well for Primark highlighters. Then we've got Siesta, which is a pink toned one. That's that one. Then we have, I think it's called Sundown, yeah. And again, it's the same with this one, it's just too dark really. I have tried it as a bronze topper and it looked okay. I just went in very lightly with it. And then we have Pool Party, which is way too dark. Good eyeshadow, a really nice bronzy eyeshadow. So that's all of those. I'm just going to try and ring my sister back again because because it went straight to voicemail, and I just want to make sure we're not interrupted any further. Right, only an hour later, let's get into it. So this Lorac Shadow Bed, like self-made palette, I bought this for my Pastel Roses eyeshadows, but then I switched them into the MAC palette and I thought these blushes would look good here. So we've got a couple of tight ones. Don't ask me for the names because they came out of another palette and I don't have them anymore. So they're the two shades. Can you see those? I'll swatch them. I've got a feeling this video is going to be long. I hope you like long videos. That one, so that one is quite matte, and then this one is quite shimmery, which I like. Then I've got this Benefit one here. I think that, is that California? I can't remember. But yeah, we've got that one. Can you see a theme here? I definitely like similar toned blushes. Then we've got Rocketeur, or Rocketeur. I'm coming to the pan, I can see it there. Let's try and swatch. Yeah, I can definitely see the pan. I don't use this as much. I need to really use it a little bit more. I'd love to get this blusher out of the collection. Well, out of the palette. So that's that one there. Then I've got another, like, tiny little single here from... it was from a not a Benefit, it was from a Balm palette that I depotted. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? It had eyeshadows in it and it had highlighters and things in it, so that's that one. I've got this little Makeup Geek eyeshadow just to use as highlighter. So this one is in the shade Shimmer Shimmer. This one is a dupe for the Steeler Kitten, so that's it there, or that's what they say anyway. So that's that. Then I've got this Primark, not Primark, Revolution Pro Sensational Lights. It's in the shade Glorious. That's that one there. I've got another one from the Balm here, this highlighter. I think this is a similar shade to Mary Lou. And then I've got a couple of Primark ones. So we've got this one. Can't remember the shade names of them. So this one is, it's a highlighter, but for me it's a blush topper. If you've got deeper skin, you could definitely wear that as a highlighter. And then I think this one might have been Brunch Money. So that's that one. And I'm sure I had 3 of these at some point, but I can't find the other one. Maybe I only got 2. And that's that one there. So that's all the blushes and highlighters from the Lorac Pro palette. So let's take those off. Okay, so that's what that one looks like. It's beautiful, isn't it? I love making a self-made palette. Right, now we've got the Z palette, which has got more Benefit ones in. So this really is my winter one. This one is my summer one, except for, like, I would say this shade is definitely winter and this shade's winter, but the others are but the others are summer. But I don't have room for them two in here, so I just kind of keep them in there. So I can't remember what this one's called. That's the shade of it. I'm not 100% on it, to be honest. So that's that one. Then we've got, well, I can't remember the shade names of these things. I think that might be Rocketeur, actually. And I think the one in this palette is Gold Rush. I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure I got the mini and Gold Rush, so that's that one. And this one is Rocketeur, which I never used to use a lot, but looking at that shade now, I really like that. This needs to come out for a Shop My Stash soon. And then we've got 3 more Tarte blushes that are perfect for autumn and winter. So let's swatch these. So they're the 3 shades there. Which I've gone completely wrong again. Let's just do one swatch at a time. So going with the darkest one first. That is really, really pretty. These Tarte blushes stay on as well forever. They're just really, really gorgeous. Them two are quite similar. That one's just a fraction lighter. So yeah, them 3 are all really, really similar, I would say. Then we've got some Tanya Bear face products. So we've just got a bronzer and a blush. I got rid of the highlight. So that's the bronzer. It's quite a radiant bronzer, and then this is the blush, and surprise, surprise, it's another coral blush. So that's those 2. And then we've got a couple of Deck of Scarlet ones, just purely because I've done a Deck of Scarlet palette, but these didn't fit in. So I don't know if I'm going to be keeping the deeper shade here. It's really, really deep, and I think it's far too deep for me. I can get away with it if I'm only using a little bit, so I need to test it out. But yeah, I think that's too deep. And then we've got the opposite spectrum of blushes. So actually that's a highlight, it's not a blusher. Don't know if I want to keep this. Yeah, I don't, that seems a little bit lackluster, but this part of my arm is really, really dry, so I'd like to try it on my face. But they're all the blushes and one highlighter from that palette. I can't think of the name of this Benefit blush. I need to look and put that, I need to look on that, and I'll write it somewhere on the screen. But yeah, I just can't think of the name. Let's get a different wipe. I'm going to go through so many wipes. Okay, right, so the next one, like I said, I've done a Deck of Scarlet Self-Made palette. I went a little bit crazy with this one. It's kind of turned to mush, but I do want to try it. In fact, do I? I think I'll declutter that when I do my declutter. I don't feel like I need to keep hold of that. And then we've got this vibrant purple one. I don't have a purple blush, so I think I'll keep that just for videos where I want a purple blush. And like you can see there, you can really blend it out, so it's not too bad. And then we've got a red blush here, which feels a little bit dry. So that's that one. I'm not 100% sold on that one either. Then we've got a pink blush, like a baby pink blush. That's not the best. It could be just hand swatches. It might be okay when it's on the cheeks. I've not actually tried these blushes. This one is pretty similar though, so maybe I don't need to keep both. Actually, it's a little bit darker, and that one's more smoother. Then we've got a couple of highlights and a bronzer coming up. Yeah, that's a nice highlight. So that's that one. And then this one I know that I really like. Look at that highlight, guys. And again, it's not really showing up. I definitely think it's my arm and the dryness of it. I did moisturise my arms yesterday, but they still feel pretty dry. I suppose it's going to take more than one attempt. And then we've got a bronzer, and I think that I really like this bronzer as well. Yeah, it's a radiant one, and I don't have too many of those. So there are a few blushes in here that I might consider getting rid of. This one here and this one here, and maybe that red one there, and just keep the rest. We will find out when I come to do my face palette declutter. Okay then, so that's that, and then we've just got one more to talk about. So I got this for a steal when I was in, I think it was Chorley with my mum in the UK, and actually no, it would have been Bolton. So yeah, I went there with my mum and we went to Primark, and I came across this, and I think originally it was £6 and it went down to £2, maybe £3 at the most, and I'd been eyeing it up. They did an eyeshadow palette as well, I think, but they didn't have that on sale when I saw this. So it's the Little Mermaid Find Joy in a Mermaid. So cute. Right, so we'll swatch the highlighters. So I'm going to swatch Treasure first. So I don't know where that's cut off. I've just swatched some of the highlighters from the Little Mermaid Find Joy in a Mermaid, and I was just saying, this is the one that I normally use. It is just so reflective. So that one is Under the Sea. That one is called Treasure. So I use that more for a blush topper. And then we've got Shipwreck. They are a little bit chunky, but they do blend out really nice. And this one makes a really nice eyeshadow as well. I really like those tones for eyeshadows. And then we've got Thingamabob, which again is too dark. And then we've got Imagine. Let's just take some of these swatches off. Imagine is a great eyeshadow as well. And then we've got Bubbles. Which is like a white pink duochrome, I would say. So that's what they all look like there. So I'm just gonna take the swatches off. I'm definitely gonna need to get some wipes when I go to the shop. I thought about doing this face palette collection just purely because A, I've not done it. According to my channel anyway, I looked before when I was looking at whether I'd done a highlighter one, and I thought that I had done a highlighter one, and I just thought it was a little bit pointless me doing it again, just purely because I only did that one in August of last year. But I've never done a face palette collection. I have had some new face palettes in the collection, so I thought you might want to see them. So that's the last one. So I'm going to put all these back, and then we're going to get some more out. Right, okay, so let's start with this Nip and Fab one. So to be honest, I don't know how I feel about this one. So it's a Nip and Fab travel palette, and I think it's in light. Yeah, light medium. So I got this from TK Maxx and it was only £3.99. So it has a highlighter, a blush and a bronzer. I really like the blush and the bronzer, and I don't know how I feel about the highlight. I mean, it looks nice enough on the finger, doesn't it? And even on the hand, it's not showing any texture, but every time I use it, I get those blah vibes that you sometimes get with a product that you're really not overly keen with. So this is the blush. It's a little bit chunky. That's what the blush looks like. And then the bronzer is really nice. But do I just want to keep it for that? Look how nice the bronzer is, but the highlight looks nice. So I'm going to keep it around the collection for a little bit. And if I don't get much use out of it, I think I will declutter it. Right, so that's that. Then I got this for, I want to say either Christmas or my birthday, I can't remember. I got it off my mum. It's the Essence Choose Your Glow. Oops. And I got this, and I was given some money, so I got this out of the money from Wilko. It was only £5, and I just thought I'd give it a go. I've heard great things about Essence highlighters. The few times I've tried it on, I've not been wowed by it, but maybe that's because I use high-end highlighters which are really, really creamy. They are creamy, but they're not blinding. And obviously if you want a blinding highlight, or you expect a blinding highlight and you don't get one, you're a little bit disappointed. But look at that. That is quite blinding. Very, very blinding. A bit chunky. But yeah, that's quite blinding. And then we've got Summer Glow. I've not even told you the shades, have I? Summer Glow is a little bit too dark. So we've got Candlelit Glow, Major Glow, which is the one I tend to use. I tend to mix them two. And then we've got Summer Glow. That'd be a nice inner corner highlight. And it isn't bad for the price. So yeah, that's that. Right, and you will have seen this in a haul. So I recently hauled this by invitation only. I only got it because it was £2 down from £4. And I like the fact that it was an ombre blusher, but it is a shimmery one. So I'm going to swatch each part of the blush. So we've got like this part, which would be good for in a corner highlight if you could get it a bit more pigmented than that. And then we've got the more pinkier one. Might end up giving this to my niece. So there's that one. I've not even used it yet, so I want to at least try it. And then there's the more brown side. Yeah, I'm looking at it now and I'm not getting ooh vibes. But yeah, that is that one. Right, so now I think this must be my oldest face palette. This was probably the first face palette I ever bought myself. So it's the Sleek Face Form Contouring and Blush Palette in the shade Light. So this is what it looks like. Every time I think about decluttering this, I can't bring myself to declutter it. I mean, they're still really, really good and creamy. So that's the bronzer. That's the highlight. I mean, look at that highlight. And then we've got a blusher that's a lot like NARS Orgasm, which is like a peach shimmery blush but with gold reflect. It's really, really pretty. So that one's staying around for a little bit more, and I just need to use it a little bit more than I have. I've not used it at all. I should do what Andrea Mattiliano does. I've been watching her eyeshadow palette declutters, and what she does is if she's not used a product for a year, then she'll just declutter it. The next one is this one. I cannot rave about this more than enough. I've recently done a drugstore favourites video. I don't think that's on the channel yet, but I will be putting that up before this video goes up, so you will see it. It's the I Heart Revolution Bronze and Glow, and you can see how much I love it. I've hit pan here. So yeah, absolutely adore this. If you haven't got this, guys, highly recommend. If you're fair skin, that is, because if you're fair to light, it will look good on you. If you're anything above that, then it's not going to be a good one for you. I'm sure they'll do other ones. And it is buildable, you can make it darker, but it is a really, really light bronzer. And then it's got a really, really nice highlighter. So that's the highlighter. I said in so many videos, and I still stand by it, I've got highlighters this shade, so I would much rather have preferred that they put a bronzer in the full size of the pan, just purely because it's a good bronzer. You can see, obviously, because I have hit so much pan. Yeah, it needs to come out and we need to work on it a little bit more. Right, so speaking on the Revolution chocolate bars, I do have another one. So it's the I Heart Revolution Rose Gold Glow. Again, this is in my favourite drugstore. If you have not tried this highlighter, why not? No, I mean seriously guys, you need to try it. It is beautiful. You'll see now. Look at that. You would be blinding. They'd be able to see you from Mars in this highlighter. I'm going to do 2 swatches. Not that it needs it, but look. I can get away with mixing both of them. So we're going to go into the darker one now, which is that one there. So that's that, and then I'll show you what they look like mixed. Let me just take that off. And then it just looks a little bit darker mixed. Yeah, it's just an absolutely stunning highlighter. I would say if you're going to buy one of these, it depends if you're a highlighter person. I love highlighter. I've got so much highlighters in my collection. I would say if you love highlighter, get this one. If you love bronzer, then get the bronzer one. But they're both really good and very inexpensive. And I think at the moment Revolution have got a sale on, haven't they? 60% off. That will be completely gone off by the time this video goes up though, so it's irrelevant. Right, the next one is this. So I saw this everywhere when it first was released. So it's the Sleek Makeup highlighter palette in the shade Solstice. It's absolutely beautiful. It still performs really well. I don't use this cream just purely because it's old and dry. Actually quite nice though. That's the cream, and they actually do these highlighters individually, but you can still get the palette as well. This purple one, I absolutely adore it. Look at that guys, absolutely stunning. Then there's a yellow one. It's like a yellow gold, it's not a pure yellow. So I've been using the Honey palette today, and this one would make a really nice inner corner highlight. I might bring it out just for that. I should have thought about that really when I was pulling makeup out in this Shop My Stash. And then we've got an everyday wearable peach one there. Just look at them, they are really nice. I would highly recommend that. So that highlighter palette is £9.99, and you can't really go wrong. Right, so out of this little section we've just got one more. So I did get this Essence contouring palette I think about a year and a half ago. So this one is for lighter skin. They do a different shade as well for deeper skin tones. So we've got like the setting powder here, which you're not going to be able to see, and then we've got the contour powder, which looks like that. Right, so let me just go and pop these back. Right, so let's start off with the Catrice Light on the Stars. I got this a couple of years ago as a birthday present from a family member, and I absolutely love this. I've not used it enough really, but that's what she looks like. So we'll start off with the darkest one in the palette, which is called Starboy. These are super smooth guys. Look at that pigmentation. Again, it's too dark for my skin tone, but that's what that one looks like. Come Here for Glow is the one that I use all the time, and sometimes I'll mix it with, I think it's Stars Come Up, so that's Come Here for the Glow, or Come Here for Glow, and then Stars Come Up is that one, is that one, sorry. No, I don't mix them. So basically I can't use that one and that one, I'll have to use them as eyeshadows, and the Come Here for Glow is the only one that I can use. But it's really, really pretty, and it was really inexpensive from TK Maxx. I got some money for my birthday and went shopping. I also got a Catrice eyeshadow palette, I think it was Catrice, and that was a dud. I gave that to my niece. I really didn't like the formula. It was a baked formula, and I don't really like baked eyeshadows, so yeah. This one was $6.99. I think if you can get that, I would highly recommend it. The next one is this Revolution Renaissance Illuminate palette, which is really hard to get into. You've got a highlight shade there and then 2 blushes here. This one is a white gold highlight. It's really, really pretty. I don't have too many shades like that in my collection. Then we've got, these are like blush toppers. So we've got a lighter pink and then a deeper pink. How nice are they though, guys? So that's that, and I got that on offer. I think it was about £3 or £4 maybe from Revolution a while back. The next one is this Revolution Pro HD contour palette. So this one is in the shade Fair, and I saw it on sale and knew I had to have it, just purely because I don't have one. So we've got a really light powder here, a highlighter there. I'm not going to swatch the powder, just purely because it's not going to show up and it's only a translucent powder, so that's the highlight. Then we've got another light powder, a deeper powder. We'll swatch the deeper one. That's still not showing up. Then these are all the contour shades here, and there's a banana powder there. So we'll just swatch the contour shades. Right, so that's all 3 contour shades there. The very light swatches, I've only done 1 swatch each. I use this one and this one mixed, and I have tried mixing this one a few times as well, but it's a little bit too deep. Eventually I will be cracking this one out when I finish the Revolution and Imagination Highlight to the Moon palette. Okay, and then we've got the Revolution Ultra Pro Glow. Yeah, that's what it's called. And then that's filled with all these highlighters, really, really pretty highlights. Another pinky purple one. Right, so that's the first row. There's a yellow one in here as well. I feel like they've tried to dupe the Sleek one. That's actually a lot brighter than the one in the Sleek palette, so I might pull this one out to use with the Her Honey palette. I think the formula's starting to change on these highlighters. They don't feel as smooth, or maybe they've always felt like this and I've forgotten. This one would make a really nice eyeshadow. But yeah, they're all the swatches. It's getting to the point now where you can't actually see anything that I put on my hand. So now we've got the Revolution Beyond Radiance palette. I absolutely adore these palettes. They remind me so much of the Hourglass ones. I like the other one that's coming up next more than this one, but yeah, I'll do some swatches. They are really, really smooth. That's what the shades look like on the fingers. And they just meld into the skin really, really well. So that's what they look like. They're more like powders rather than highlighters. There's no real sheen to them, so I use them as finishing powders. And then we've got the Radiance palette, which actually looks newer, but it's actually older, guys. So that's what mine looks like. I bring this out every so often in my Shop My Stash. So let's swatch them all and I can show you what they look like on the fingers. This one here reminds me of, I think it's Dim Light from Hourglass, and I use it all the time. Like, I mean, it's blended into the skin really, really well. It doesn't show any texture, and I use this one as a bronze topper. So yeah, that's what they look like. Whew. Didn't realise I would have so much swatches to do. Next we have the Live London Makeup Obsession HD Contour Expert palette. I didn't realise he had so many contour palettes. So we've got a white powder here. I've had this one ages. That's very smooth as well. Then we've got, I think it's white. It looks white with an undertone of lavender highlight. That's that one. And then these are all the contours here. So as you can see, I've just mainly been mixing these two. They're really creamy still. And I've never used these bottom two. Just think they're too dark. So that's what they look like. Right, up next we've got the Lottie Shimmer Squad. I pulled this recently for a Shop My Stash and I really enjoyed using it. I mainly use this one, the Good Girl. Look how reflective that is, guys. This one is too deep for me, the Flirt. But very reflective, and it would make a really good eyeshadow. Then we've got the Troublemaker. I can use the bottom two, I think, so I can use 3 out of the 4. So that's the Troublemaker. And then we've got the Queen Bee, which I can use as well. It's not that deep. So that's that. It's a really beautiful palette. I don't have many products from Lottie, but what I have tried, I really, really do enjoy. Right, the next one is by Pixie and Dolce Candy. Why have I said it like that? The next one is by Pixie and Dolce Candy. So it's classed as an eye and face palette. So these up here are definitely highlighters. This one would be an eyeshadow for me. These are blush toppers. And then these two here would be a highlighter. And I think that one... Sorry, these two here would be eyeshadows. And I think I could get away with that as a highlight. So I'll just swatch them. Right, can you see how that's too dark? I mean, those two mixed I'd probably get away with. So that's the first row in the palette. Now I'm going to show you the blushers, or the blush toppers. I'm not sure I like this palette, guys. It could be on the... Well, it's been on the chopping block a few times, I think. I mean, that's nice. There's certain things in here that's nice, and that's why I keep it around. But those two I don't really like. Right, and then the bottom row is, let's just make sure my hands are dry, or my fingers, is another highlighter, which if I put it on really lightly, or I put that one over the top of it, I'd definitely be able to get away with. And then these are more like bronze eyeshadows for me for sure, and that one as well. But yeah, that's what they look like. After this is just one more box full. Next we've got the Smashbox Crush on Blush palette. I really like this. So it came with a highlighter which I used up. So it's got a glowy blush here, that's a matte blush, a bronzer, and 2 more matte blushes down here. So let's do some swatches. Look how glowy that is so pretty. And what I tend to do is use this one first as a matte blush, then I'll put that over the top. It looks really, really pretty. I think what I'm going to do for the next few weeks, the next month or so, is just pull face palettes rather than the blushes. I might pull the odd cream one because I'm really, really getting into cream blushes, but I do want to focus on my palettes as well as my singles. And then you've got a really like berry shade here, which is nice for winter. And then this one is really light. I didn't think you'd be able to see it on me, but you actually can. So that's that one. You could actually mix those two. And then the next one is Becca and Jaclyn Hill, the Champagne Pop collection. Which looks like that. We all know what she looks like. Right, so I need to tell you the names, don't I? So we've got Rose Spritz, Amaretto, and what's that last one called? Pamplemousse. What someone was calling me then. Look at Rose Spritz, guys. That is so me in a blush. Amaretto and Pamplemousse. Right, so with Pamplemousse I have actually popped this on as a matte blush and then popped a little bit of Rose Spritz over the top. And it does look nice. And then we've got two highlighters. So one of the highlighters I've completely hit pan on, and I think that's Champagne Pop, isn't it? Yeah, Champagne Pop. So there was a time when I just used Champagne Pop, but now when I use it, I use them both. Champagne Pop and Prosecco Pop. In fairness, I do think they're both too dark, but I do use them very, very minimally, and I do want to get more pan in this highlighter here. So that's those few done. I'm going to get the box that's left, and then we'll go through the last few face palettes that are in my collection, and then we will be done, guys. So I keep the rest in this little box here. These are kind of my best palettes. So we've got the Ofra Signature Glow here. Let's just move that to one side. So it has Star Island, Rodeo Drive, Barley, Pillow Talk and Blissful, and these are really good if you want to try their formula. So yeah, they're really good for that. I can't use everything in it, so that's Rodeo. Let me just tell you which one's which. So that one's Star Island, that's Rodeo Drive. That one I think is Blissful. No, it's Barley. That's Pillow Talk, and the end one is Blissful. So Barley, Pillow Talk and Blissful. So that's them there. You probably can't see them a great deal because I have had that much blusher on. My hand's probably looking a bit pink, but I am trying to get it rubbed off really, really nicely so you can see what I'm putting on my hand. Then I have another one, definitely a favourite. So we've got the Becca Blush with Light Trio. It's got Wisteria, Songbird and Snapdragon. Now Snapdragon for the longest time was my favourite blush. I didn't use any of these, but I've started to use these two and I really like them as well. So I think this one is Wisteria. It's a beautiful mauve tone blush. Then Songbird, which is quite deep. And then we've got Snapdragon, which is the illuminating one, which is getting hard pan. I need to sort that out. I need to get some sticky tape on that. but I'd expect it to have hard pan anyway because that's the one I've used the most. Can you see all the hard pan here? So I'll sort that out probably today, and there are all the blushes from that palette. Okay, so next one is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, which just looks like that. As you can see, it's very, very loved. I actually had this in a project last year. So yeah, did really well with the bronzer. I do just want to finish that up. You can't see it just purely because I've swatched that much, but that's the bronzer, and then this is the highlighter. I've hit pan on the highlighter as well. So yeah, that's really, really nice, and that's what mine looks like. Right, so now we're coming to a palette that I've not had that long. My mum got it me for Christmas. So it's the Too Faced Sugar Peach Wet and Dry. It's a blush and eyeshadow palette. So it's a face and eyeshadow palette, should I say. I mean, is that not packaging goals? It's so, so cute. It smells absolutely divine. Right, so we've got the highlighter Peach Pearl. Which looks like that. Then we've got it's kind of a matte blush, but with like glitter in it. It reminds me so much of the sequin eyeshadows from Colourpop. I'm going to put quite a big swatch on them, maybe you'll see it. You can see the sequins, sorry, you can see the glitter here. And then we've got Peach Honey, which I've never even worn, just purely because it is very, very deep. It's definitely an eyeshadow on me. And then Peach Pop, which is definitely one of my favourites in the entire palette. It is so, so pretty and would make a really nice eyeshadow as well. So that's everything in the palette. So that's Peach Pearl, that's Sugared Peach, Peach Honey and Peach Pop. My stomach's starting to rumble now as well. I'll try and cut this video down as much as I possibly can, but you just can't, not when you're talking about the actual products as well. Next up we've got the Becca, Chloe and Malika. Is this Chloe's? Yeah, made with love by Chloe. The reason I'm saying is it Chloe's purely because I actually got Malika's first thinking it was Chloe's, so I've got Malika's as well, which is quite a bit darker. So I can't get away with using everything in this palette. So we've got her highlighter, which is called Glow Up Soft Focus Highlighter. Becca do amazing products, don't they? I'm really sad they're going out of business. That's the highlighter. Then we've got a radiant blush in the shade Fierce. Then we have another radiant blush in the shade Fabulosity, which is a tiny bit darker. It's more mauve toned, whereas the other one is more peach toned. And then, let me just wipe them off, we've got a bronzer, and that one is called Cocoa Bronze, and that one's a satin matte bronzer. So that's what those swatches look like. So that's from the, so that's Chloe's, and like I said, I do have Malika's. So Malika's comes in silver packaging. Let's take those swatches off. Like I said, I can actually get away with some of these products in the palette. Pretty much most of them. If I go in very, very lightly with a bronzer, I can use that as well. Right, so we've got the highlighter, which is Dusted. Right, so if I go in really, really lightly with that, I can get away with it, no problem. The next is a radiant blush in Yes Girl. really nice peach blush. This one is a berry blush, which is in the shade Make Me Blush. So they're both radiant blushes. So I do actually go in really, really lightly when I use this palette. I'm just trying to make the swatches as pigmented as I can for you. And then we've got the bronzer. The bronzer is quite dark, so the bronzer is called Bestie Bronze. But if I go in really lightly, I can get away with it. I mean, you can see how nice it blends out. So yeah, that's both of those palettes. I got them from TK Maxx at a really good price. The next one is the Charlotte Tilbury Iron Face palette. Right, so that's what mine looks like. I've had it for so long. I don't think this will show up, but I will show it on the finger. So that's the prime shade. Then we've got an enhanced shade and a smoke shade. So prime, enhance and smoke. Right, so prime, enhance, smoke. Then we've got the face products. I was just gonna swatch the face products as it is a face palette swatch party. I was just gonna swatch the face products, but I thought I'd do the entire palette. So we've got this bronzer, which it just says face on it. It doesn't tell me what it was. And at first, when I got it, I thought it was this same bronzer from the film Star Bronze and Glow, but it's not. Then we've got two blushes. So we've got the Swish and Pop. So that one's Swish, that one's Pop. And I love these palettes because you get to try out her products. I think the palettes are now £55. But you would pay so much more if you got them all individually. I mean, the eyeshadow quads alone are like £42. And then obviously for the blushes, I think they're between 30 and 35. So it all mounts up. So yeah, that's what everything looks like in that palette. Oh, I'm getting really hot. So if you want to try Charlotte Tilbury's products, I would recommend getting one of her face palettes, and she's got a lot out now. When I bought this one was the only one that was out. It's in the shade Natural Beauty. This isn't even on her website now. You can't even get it, so it was kind of a limited edition. So yeah, that's that one. The next one is the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne collab. So that's what it looks like. It's just full of highlighters. So let's do some swatching. Right, so again, this one is far too dark for me. That one I want to swatch again. Right, so I normally use that one in the middle, and I'll go in with that one as well sometimes, just mix them. But this one's too deep. Do they have names on? No. But that's what the packaging looks like. It's really nice. When I got this, her whole collection in Debenhams wasn't doing well. So I got this at a really good discounted price along with her palette. Her eyeshadow palette. And then the next one, I got this off my sister a few years back now. It's a PS Summer Stern face palette. Let me just wipe my hands off. This one's beautiful. I love the packaging for a start. It reminds me of the MAC packaging that they brought out. They did some marble packaging. And this is what it looks like. Absolutely stunning. Right, so it cut off because it was full. I can't remember where it cut off. Right, so I was just telling you the names of these highlighters. So that one's Thunder. That one's Cloud, that one's a duochrome, that one's Buzzard. The blush here is Humid, then we've got Degrees, and then we've got Dewy there. They are so pretty. I think I'll be pulling this out in the next Shop My Stash. It's gorgeous. So let me just wipe those off. I think my camera's trying to tell me that I've been filming for far too long, just purely because the card was full then, and I've got another video on it as well. But yeah, I think it's telling me that I need to wrap things up. So the next one is this Kevyn Aucoin jewelled face and eye palette, and everyone was complaining about this, saying it wasn't a great palette, and I kind of understand it. The eyeshadows aren't the best, well, the ones that I haven't tried, but the face products, guys, they're really, really good. You pay quite a bit of money for the sculpting powder of his, so I definitely want to keep it. I'm going to show you most of the eyeshadows. I won't show you Moonstone just because it's a cream ivory shade, but all the rest I will. So we've got Citrine, which is beautiful. Then we've got Ruby. Topaz. Topaz is a bit lackluster in my opinion. Then we've got Emerald. I think people were complaining because there's no mattes in it. Not really. Bet you could use Emerald as a matte though. And then Mahogany. Mahogany is a matte. So they're all the eyeshadows. Like my Swatch, the face products. So what I'll do is with this blusher, it's got two sides to it. I'll swatch each one individually. So it's called Rose Quartz. So we'll swatch the peachy side of it first. It is a little bit lackluster on the arm. So that's the peach side. Now we'll go into the more mauvey tone side. Yeah, it is quite lackluster. I don't remember it being like that on my face, so I remember it showing up quite well. And then we've got the sculpting powder in the shade Medium, which works well for my skin tone. I was quite surprised. Which is that one there. So that's all the shades there. How nice is that shade though, that Citrine shade? It's really, really pretty. My neck's starting to hurt now as well. Okay, right, so that's the Kevyn Aucoin. Right, so I've also got the Huda Glow Obsessions, but that's in my Shop My Stash. I'll show that in a second. I've got the Kors Bronze and Glow palette. I used this last week for my Shop My Stash and I really enjoyed it. So it just looks like that. I mean, how pretty is it though, guys? And they're the free swatches there. I don't know if you can see them. The bronzer really doesn't show up well. So the bronzer, see, that's how light it is. So it's only a fraction darker than my actual skin tone. So if you're like a light skin tone, it wouldn't show up on you. It barely shows up on me. But the rest of the shades are just so, so pretty. And then we have the Too Faced Sweet Peach Glow, which I got gifted from a friend. She didn't want it anymore, so she asked me if I wanted it, and I'm like, oh yes. I just love Too Faced face products in general, so this is what that looks like. So we've got a highlighter, a blush and a bronzer. And this smells of peaches still, so that's the highlighter. I'm going to zoom out, I don't know how much you're seeing. We've got a really nice peach blush in here, it's stunning. That's the blush, and then the bronzer. So that's those, and I just need to get a few things out of my drawers and then we'll be done. Right guys, so these are the last two face palettes in my collection. So we've got the Huda Beauty Light Glow Obsessions. Now I have swatched this before, but I will do it again for the sake of this video, just in case anyone comes here that hasn't actually seen the swatches. So we've got like a, I would say it's like a yellow gold highlight there, which is really, really pretty. It's that one there. Then we've got a pink one here, like a pink duochrome. Well, that's exactly what it is. It's a pink duochrome highlight. That's that one there. And then we've got I would say more of a champagne shade down here. And then a really gold bronze here, which is the smoothest one out of the lot, believe it or not. So that's what all them swatches look like. I've actually done a first impressions on it, so if you want to go and check that out, I'll leave that in the cards. Okay, so they're quite powdery, but it is a pretty good formula. So the last one is the Revolution and Imagination Highlight to the Moon palette. I want to say I've been panning this for the last 2 years. And that's what it looks like. That's what mine looks like. I've done so well. All I have to do now is completely pan this, and then I can put it away and use something else. So my goal was to pan it by January of 2022, and I think I'll do that easily. So I'm going to show you the shades that are in here. So we've got Can't Deal, that's a bronzer I'm using at the moment. More is a contour, and then the highlighters are these ones here. So we've got Limited Edition, which is a really nice white. I don't think you can get this face palette anymore. And then we've got Slay My Life, which is this one here. This is quite golden toned. So that's that one there. And then we've got Angel Face. Now I used to use that so much. I love that Angel Face highlight. I don't know, the formula doesn't feel as good as I remember it. Or maybe I'm just used to nicer highlighters. So that's everything there. So yeah, what I'll do once I've finished using the Can't Deal shade completely, I'll pop it away probably for a year, and then I'll pull it out and we'll work on the highlighters if they're good quality. If they're not good quality, I'm going to call it done, guys, because I have been seeing this palette for the last 2 years, I would say, and I feel really happy that I've practically used all 6 powders in it. I think I will focus on the Chanel bronzer here. So I think I'll focus on the Chanel bronzer when I'm done, and also I'll bring that Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow out. So that's all the pan I've got at the minute. I'm doing really well with it. I've not used it for a few days though, just purely because I've been using other things. Whoops. So this concludes the video, guys. We've gone through all of my face palettes. If you've made it this far, leave me a little heart at the end so I know that you have. I really do appreciate your time, especially on these longer videos. I know they can be quite grueling. If you sit down with a nice cup of tea and some snacks, hopefully it'll be an enjoyable experience for you. Let me know what your favourite face palette is. I would love to know in the comments down below. If you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. I'm currently working on a giveaway, and I would love for you to be a part of it when it does go on the channel. Please like, it really does help out the channel. Share and comment, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.